Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back once again to Rigged Reality Radio. This is KJ Ozborne. I'll be your host this evening. Once again, thanks for joining us here. Rigged Reality Radio, your alternative to the alternative media. So I'm going to start off, guys. I have had a crazy week trying to get this show set up and everything else. So let me just tell you, this is what I think my fifth show or whatever. And those of you who've been following me, you can probably see that I'm constantly having some kind of an issue. There's technical issues here. The last 2 weeks, chat wasn't working. For all I know, it's not working right now. As far as I know, we have that fixed. I'm going to take a look right now. Can you hear me on chat? Anybody out there? I know there's some people on there. So yeah, like I said, it's just been one thing after the other. It's been pretty crazy, and I'm not complaining. I definitely appreciate the opportunity to be doing this, and I'm a big fan, of course, of reaching out and trying to get the message out there and find people who are doing similar work. We do all kinds of things here. We cover, we cover the New World Order, of course. We cover a lot of spiritual things as well. We get into the esoteric, into the occult, into Illuminati symbols, and everything else in between. UFOs being demons, you name it, okay? Kind of everything there. But, okay, let me just kind of tell you what's going on with this week. So in the last 24 hours, I lost 3 guests. 3 guests, okay? So I was actually going to have Lynn Leoz on tonight. She's an author, writer, researcher. Great lady to have on. We're going to have her on next week, actually. We'll have her on next week for a full hour. But unfortunately, her daughter's kind of sick, so she had to go take care of her. So our prayers go out to Lynn's daughter. And then about 2 hours ago, I get an email from my not my friend. It was a guy, Ian, I was going to have on, and I get an email from his fiance about 2 hours ago saying that he had to be rushed to the hospital. So hopefully we can have Ian on next week, find out what happened, and hopefully he's good and everything's okay. I didn't get any details, but our prayers go out to Ian as well. So there's that, and then I just had my third lined up, and they disappeared off of Skype 10 minutes ago. So here I am, guys, just kind of out here, let's see. Oh, well, okay. Well, it looks like my guy might have come back. Let's see if we can't get a hold of this guy. Let's see.
Hello.
Matt, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, good, man. What happened to you?
Well, I left my house because it was so loud, so I had to go to a Wi-Fi spot, and then I messaged you a few times, but they didn't seem to be going through.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just glad we got you, man. So yeah, I was worried about you. I was just telling the audience you're my third guest I lost in 24 hours, man. So it's been kind of a whirlwind, but I'm glad you're back, man. Yeah, sounds good there. Sounds all right. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Cool, man. So, all right. Well, good. Well, we got Chainsaw Barbarian here on the line, guys. I'm really excited about this. We're going to have him for the first hour. For the second hour, we're going to have our friend Jer Lynn is going to be coming on. I'm a big fan of Jerrae and her channel. I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of her message and what she talks about, mainly because she's very down to earth, really cool. She's a mother, 2 kids, and she's a wife, and she's fully awake. So yeah, I wanted to bring that angle into the show as well, because I know a lot of people would like to hear how you deal with family, and then also understanding the horrors around us. So we'll talk to her in an hour. So with Chainsaw Barbarian, my friend here, we've talked on YouTube a few times. You also have kind of a series you do on your channel called Symbol Smasher, and that's where you and I meet. We both like uncovering symbolism and whatnot. Man, you take the floor. Just kind of let us know a little about you and how you got into this, and whatever you want to go with, man, go for it.
All right, man. Well, I'm in a constant state of evolution on this stuff. There's so many levels when you're looking at occult symbols, and when you really, really get down to it and you really start to see it, it'll really knock you on your butt, because everything is so saturated. I thought I knew a lot a year ago, but I really didn't.
Yeah, what was it that kind of led you into it? What was kind of the aha moment for you?
Well, I've only been looking at, so-called conspiracy stuff for maybe a year and a half. And, I knew something was off always, but, Alex's little trip into Bohemian Grove kind of set me off on a path.
Oh, really?
And,
Well, hey, man, that was the same one for me. That's what woke me up 8 years ago. Was that?
yeah, and now I have questions about that whole video he made, but, whatever. It got me rolling. And since
No,
then, man, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, but on that, no, I'm with you too, because we went. It sounds like you went through the Alex Jones evolution. That's. I think that's it's an early stage for a lot of us.
Yeah,
Right?
a lot of us start there, sure.
We do, and then you get past it. Like, I used to watch and listen to him religiously. I even lived in Austin for a long time, probably moving back there. I really like it out there, but I mean, he's out there. He's live. He's like on regular radio, all day long. So,
Sure.
and but now I'm have been for a few years now. Of course, kind of beyond that. I'm look at what's happening right now. You're noticing how they're talking about Alex Jones in the mainstream media a lot. They're connecting him with these killers in Vegas. You heard about this?
I've heard a little bit about him. I've heard his name thrown around a little, yeah.
Yeah, man. So, like, it's almost the perfect psyop if that's really what it was. I mean, there's that Illuminati card. Maybe you've seen it, where it looks like Alex Jones and Ron Paul. Have you seen that one before?
Yeah. Yeah. Those cards are crazy, huh?
They are. So you start looking at things like that, and it makes you wonder. But so the Bohemian Grove kind of got you into it, and then, I mean, you're really good at it. And see, the thing is that the reason I like the kind of work you're into, of course, not just because I do something kind of similar myself, but I really feel that we're living in a time that a lot of people are kind of, those abilities are being activated, if you will, in a lot of people, because all the secrets are being revealed,
I agree, yeah. It's, I mean, the whole thing just seems like a crazy sci-fi movie if you...
It is.
Like, I appreciate you having me on, because I don't have anyone near me I can talk to these things about. So, I'm glad for the outlet.
Well, for sure, man. For sure. And see, that's why I like talking to other researchers on YouTube, because we're, as far as I'm concerned, we're the real deal. We really are the alternative to the alternative. I mean, the guys that run this radio show, they have access to all kinds of great interviews and stuff. Really big people and all this. But, I want to talk to us, the people in the trenches. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've got a small channel, but it's kind of steadily growing, and I think people in general are just kind of catching on a little bit,
Yeah, we'll discuss just kind of, I got a few subjects for us, but one is, I mean, what about pentagram blowout? Do you want to talk anything about that, kind of tell people about that?
Sure, well, actually that's a good one to kind of start at, because before I go too deep into any symbols, we have to realize that they all have multiple meanings,
Yeah.
And, we can assume every pentagram is evil, but it's not really my place to call it that, unless I, really, really dug into pentagrams. And, and this is the stuff you can't Google either, because you'll get 400 different answers.
Yeah. Well, have you ever done any study in witchcraft or the occult? I mean, when I was a little teenager, little boys, we did stupid stuff and looked at bad books and all that, but,
Well, it's funny, because I never really intentionally went out of my way to look into occult things. I grew up as a punk rocker and into a lot of weird music, and I've been to a lot of weird places, but,
yeah.
A pentagram on my t-shirt was no big deal when I was a kid, but I didn't know what I was, representing whatsoever.
Sure, it's the same thing, man. I mean, it was even with me. I was raised on Iron Maiden. That was like my favorite band forever. So, I mean, yeah, great band. I mean, I even was into Bruce Dickinson's solo stuff and whatever. And the last metal thing I was into was Mastodon. That's about how far back I go on metal.
Right.
I kind of liked Leviathan. Actually, I think was the last album I had from those guys. So, but I like indie I like some of the old school punk. The Ramones has always been one of my favorite bands, along with the Pixies. I love those guys.
Yeah, I love the Pixies too.
And go ahead.
What is really amazing to me now is looking at all that old stuff, and I thought it came from the street, like, you know.
Well, that's
And
true. And I wanted to talk to you about that because you're into kind of the punk rock and the occult. You've done some videos on that. Go ahead and just kind of keep going, man.
yeah, you know, it supposedly was from the street, you know, and you know, it never occurred to me that, gee whiz, you know, 10 different cities around the world had the exact same kind of cultural explosion going on underground.
Yeah.
You know, it's all timed so well. The characters are all so perfect. And I had to start digging. And I didn't have to dig that hard, you know. I don't know if it's... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what's some of the symbolism that you found? Who are some of the bands? I know you covered X, but go ahead.
Yeah, I covered X. I don't want to get into too many bands because I get pretty obscure. But, like... you know, there's ones, of course, that are obvious. If you look at a band called The Damned, of course they're going to have some occult references.
Yep, another Damned.
Yeah, but then you could look at a band like Ill Repute, say, which is from Oxnard out here, and, you know, they found success later in the 80s, kind of. No big deal. And it's these bands, too. It's these bands, too, that are still playing after 30, 35 years. They're the ones I find the most symbols involved with.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Well, like the Misfits, you know, you got the Misfits,
Sure.
and these guys. Have you ever seen an interview with them? I mean, they're pretty down to earth, just kind of dudes. Like I think they're married and have kids, and you know, they're just guys. So yeah, they have that scary appearance. It doesn't mean they're worshiping the devil. I know what you mean.
Right. But from the streets, no, that just didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not the bands themselves. Maybe it's the labels they became associated with, you know. Maybe somebody was funding it, you know, that wanted the symbols out there, you know.
Well, see, I know now. Are you a musician yourself?
No, I'm a painter. I draw and paint.
Oh, cool, man, cool. Well, but you're counterculture. I mean, just looking at you, you look like all my friends out there. So we probably ran a lot of the same kind of groups. And you may have friends that, you know, kind of, you know, made it and didn't, or was there and fell out. I have all that, you know, and I kind of got to do a few little things here and there, but my point is that you meet people, so maybe you've got some stories. Here's a random one for you. I actually met a band, I'm pretty sure they were called Hawthorne Heights. Have you ever heard of those guys?
No.
Yeah, they came and went, you know, and it's no offense if they're listening out there or anything, but yeah, they were kind of, and they weren't my style of music, but this is about, I don't know, 8 years ago. But I was at a bar. I was working on a reality show, so a bunch of us went to a bar there in Hollywood on Sunset, somewhere in that area. Big Wings, I think it was. Do you know what that is?
Big Wings?
Yeah, it's not in downtown Hollywood. But so we went there and hanging out and stuff. But then we wound up meeting the band Hawthorne Heights. Like my group met these guys. My group was only like 4 of us, you know, and met these guys real cool. Kind of hung out with them all night. And now they had just like made it. They had just got They had some kind of a nice house in Laurel Canyon. They had a studio there, just signed a deal and all this stuff. But anyways, the night went on. It was just, you know, everyone's getting drunk and hanging out and having fun. But at one point, one of the guys, I don't remember his name or anything, but these guys are real cool. You're just hanging out. But one of the guys was out there, and I used to smoke cigarettes way back, and we were out there smoking, and he was talking about this stuff. He was talking about, I was asking about the label and how he got, you know, what it's like and how excited he was, and he was like, man, we had to go through, you know, a lot of different labels and stuff, you know. I was like, oh, yeah. He goes, and he's rolling his eyes, and he's just like, man, some of those people, some of the things, you know, they want you to do or they talk about. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, really? Like, what? And I had no idea. I wasn't into any of this stuff. I wasn't awake or anything like that, really. But I was like, what? You know, and he was hinting, of course, at the sexual stuff. He was making jokes about it, too. He was like, you know, well, so-and-so wanted so-and-so to do this. I mean, he was just putting it right out there. I was like, get out of here. No way, man. He was like, yeah, that's what's going on. I was like, well, obviously these guys, this company did. And he's like, no, I mean, these guys are cool, you know. But I was like, oh, okay, good. So apparently some of them are good out there, you know, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe in the beginning.
Yeah, I got a few friends I'd like to track down and ask some questions to now, you know.
Yeah, like, can you throw any names out?
Well, I have one friend, you remember Sublime, right?
Of course.
So after Sublime, the guys somehow recruited a friend of mine from high school to be their drummer, and they became Capital I, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you could already hear it in the name. The symbols were all over it, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, the next time I'm in the neighborhood over there, I'm going to have to ask them a few questions. The only thing I really remember not paying attention was real big parties in real big houses, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just interesting to me who they choose to put out there, you know. And
Yeah.
a failed investment doesn't seem to be that big a deal either. But
Yeah, that's true.
it's weird that I mean, it's weird when you're watching any band's videos or listening to their music. It's really weird what they're telling you, and it's like, well, did you write this song, or you know, did somebody write it for you?
See,
You
yeah,
know?
well, that's what happens. I mean, with the punk stuff, I imagine most of it's legit, wouldn't you think? And most of it they're being real, but obviously on the higher levels, I mean, there's songwriters out there that make millions writing songs for these people who are on MTV and all over the place, the biggest artists, you know. So yeah, then that's where, you know, there's a lot of study on that and research, but there's things you can look into as well. But the idea that these are essentially witches writing the songs for a lot of these kind of Illuminati tools that are out there,
Sure.
and
And
they're
they
putting the spell in there.
They're not just throwing secrets around to punk rock kids like candy, I'm sure. So you know.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and even on that note, there's something I remember reading a long time ago, and something to do with spells and rituals and things like this. And when you're trying to curse somebody, they say something 3 times. They always do it in threes. I remember reading that a long time ago, and it's interesting with a lot of this Lil Wayne and a lot of these big artists. You'll hear their songs, but they always have those choruses in threes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's definitely there's no coincidence there. But yeah, let's talk about some symbols, though, man. I mean, just go for it. Anything that off the top of your head, some of the study you've done, maybe some of the goddess programming, the fives and the V's. I mean, things you found that you think are interesting you'd like to share?
The goddess right now is my favorite thing to investigate. It's like it's kind of like doing this research and looking at hot chicks all at the same time.
Exactly. Win-win.
And, you know, I might as well make it clear that I'm not a religious man. You know, I'm working on trying to figure it out, you know.
Well, sure. You don't have to be to come on the show.
Yeah, some people get mad, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what, man, I take, in fact, I just had one today, you know, just kind of randomly. We got an hour to talk, so we'll talk, you know. But I actually had, some of my biggest haters really are the very religious. And I just had a person going back and forth with me on personal messages about some stuff. And finally, I just said, look, we agree to disagree. You know, they're telling me essentially questioning my relationship and where I am at with my spiritual walk. And it's like, you know, this is what you get, you know, and it's just, you know, it's not cool. It is what it is. And so I feel you on that. It's very interesting. I mean, sometimes the Christians are even meaner than the atheists. It's very interesting. And there's a lot of atheists who are down to earth and cool and like to talk about this stuff. You know, you don't have to be a spiritual person to understand that we're in a world of doo-doo right now, you know.
Well, I like people, even the so-called bad guys. They're teaching me a lot more than they mean to, probably. But that's another point too that I might as well bring up is,
sure,
man, people gotta start taking the walls down from right in front of their faces. They need to open it up. They need to let that ego go a little bit, or they'll never learn a thing. You know, that's all there is.
Definitely.
It was hard for me to admit that punk rock was a lot of lies, but you know what? Yeah, they got me. You know, all you got to do is admit it. You know. They got me. They've gotten me a million times. They've gotten all of us, you know, so.
For sure. It's all over the place, you know. Go ahead.
Might as well all come to terms with that, you know. And, you know, if you are religious, do what you do. You know, read your Bible, sing songs, and do what makes you feel good. That's so important, you know what I mean? And nobody's wrong as far as I'm concerned. You know, everyone's beliefs are cool. You know? Yeah,
everyone's got their path, and you know, again, I won't even go there. You know me, and you probably know what I would like to see everybody do. But sure. I try to be cool about not getting hardcore on that, and I'm not a preacher. But all that stuff aside, let's take a call together, man. I'm going to try to get a hold of this young lady. She got in touch with me earlier today as well. She had questions that I think you and I might be able to answer together. It might be kind of fun. You want to try this? Let me see if I can get a hold of her here.
Sure. If anyone wants to ask me anything, I'll do my best.
Cool, man. Let's see if we can't bring Nene on here.
Okay.
I'm trying to call now. Okay, and it looks like it's not going to happen. You still there? Okay, good.
Yeah,
You're still there.
I'm
okay,
here.
Good. So let me see if I can't try her one more time, but She really wanted to talk, and now, but hey, this is some of the fun stuff about doing a live radio show. I mean, man, it's always something. But you know what? I just like to keep it. Cool. Well, thanks, man. We keep it loose here. We'll have some fun. I'm trying to call Nene again. Let's
Hello?
see if Nene, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. What's up?
Nothing really. It's kind of weird because I'm on radio for the first time. But
well, don't be shy. I want to tell you. Of course, this will make you more nervous. No, it shouldn't. But our friend Chainsaw Barbarian is here. Don't let the name scare you. He's a very nice guy.
Just Matt.
Just Matt. Okay, good. Matt, this is Nene. Nene, this is Matt. So Matt's my first. I'm sorry, guys. Matt's my first guest. We've just been chatting up a little bit. I kind of told him a little about you, that you really wanted to kind of talk or whatever. So, hey, the floor is yours, and nothing to worry about. We got all the time in the world. Just kind of what's on your mind. Go ahead.
Okay. Sure. It goes back about 2 years ago. I was a junior in high school. I just graduated this year.
Congrats.
Thank you. It was more of a cool environment I used to live in. I mean, it was cool in school. I talked to a lot of people. We talked about scary things, like very weird, scary stories.
Yeah.
And we just used to play around in class and stuff like that. And then one day, one of my friends were like, "You ever heard of Illuminati or anything like that, or ever researched this stuff?" I was like, "What the heck is this?" I didn't really know what it was. I was just like, okay, all right, no. They're like, "You should try and search it up and everything." And I was like, okay. So then I came home one day, and it was me and my friend. We dipped at my house. We searched up these YouTube videos, and then all of a sudden, I was just watching these videos. They were like, "What the heck is this?" I was like, "I don't even know." But it's like kind of weird. I was like, backward messages and videos and stuff. And I was like, what the? I'm like, all right.
And that's the beginning. That's right there in the beginning, just as you're falling down that rabbit hole, isn't it? It's like, oh my gosh. And just when you think you got it all figured out, you find another video, and you're like, whoa, you mean that's happening too?
Yeah. Right. I was just tripped out, and I was like, okay, like, all right. I watched a couple more videos. My friend left, and I was like, all right, I'll call you later and hit you up. And she was like, okay. And then when she left, I was in the house. I was doing chores and everything. And then I just felt this weird, negative, bad vibe inside my house. I was just like, what the heck? It feels like something's watching me. Like, stuff started, like, being heard, like, bumps around the house. I was like, what the heck?
You never had that kind of feeling before?
Never. It was so scary. I was just like, what the heck is this? Like, I don't know what it was. I ran right in my room, got my cross, started praying. I didn't know what to do. I was, like, really in tears. I called my friend. I was like, you guys told me to search up this videos. I didn't know this stuff would happen. And he was like, yeah, just, like, I'll stay on the phone with you if you need anything. Just everything's going to be okay. And then he said something which I forgot to tell KJ earlier in the message, that my friend, one of the friends that were there, that we were all talking in class about this, she's into, like, satanic stuff. And I was just like, and he's like, maybe it's her stuff that maybe passed on to you. And I was like, what is that supposed to mean? Like, I didn't know what it was. I was like, maybe, I don't really know. Like, we don't even talk all like that. And then
okay, so one of the guys, he was like a friend in the group. He apparently into Satanism stuff.
Yeah, like she was into like Tyler the Creator, wearing upside down crosses and everything.
Oh,
and
I see.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, like maybe it was her, maybe it's not her. But she told me like that she had like weird negative energy in her house and maybe demons watching her. I don't really know. It's just.
Well, that's not crazy to me, and I'll tell you why. Of course, you're talking to the right guy. I mean, you know my channel, so I'm into this, and I'm with it, you know. But you know, there's crazy stories. There's people who are lying and things like this. But truth always comes out. I like to usually take an approach where I'm kind of open to it first, then I work backwards. I just did that Leprechaun video I had to pull this week. Same thing. I started it. See, the internet's crap. Unfortunately, it was out. But, I know it sucks. I love that one. But anyway. So yeah, actually, here's what I want to ask you, though, Nene, also. So, well, actually, with that satanic or whatever, that obviously opens up portals. Before before I went to the Jerrae when I was younger. It's just before I left my home state. I had my own place. I was seeing a girl whose sister was to be this Wicca, like a witch or whatever. And I'm not saying all Wicca is bad or whatever. I've known girls who've gone through those phases and came out. But this girl comes over and does this like really weird witchcraft ritual years ago. Put a little doll above my door and nails it in, just all this strange stuff. But I went through 6 months of hell after that, and I wasn't even thinking about it. After 6 months, I started thinking, what changed in my life? And I thought it was that. And I seriously, it was one of the hard 6 months of my life. I never get depressed or sad, or it was just horrible. It was years ago. And I got rid of all that crap, and I moved out there. My health got better. I was feeling clearer. I mean, I'm telling you, it's strange. So yeah, that stuff lets evil in, for sure. Symbols or not.
Right.
You know,
okay.
Go ahead.
And then that day I told my friend, like, oh, I felt really bad. And I told her about the whole situation. She was like, yeah, like anything happened to you on the way home. She's like, yeah, I felt something was following me, like maybe the devil or something. But I just felt so scared. I never felt that situation ever in my life. So I'm really telling a lot of people because I didn't want people thinking, well, she's crazy. She might be on something. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I moved on. And the people that told me to look up into this Illuminati stuff, they were
Nene, I'm sorry to stop you. You're really breaking up really bad. I don't know if you're maybe if you can try maybe a different angle or something on the microphone, just so we can hear it all.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go for it.
All right. The next day, like, I didn't really tell anybody, and then me and my friends that told me to look up into this stuff, we chose to actually get deeper into this stuff. We made journal, we made times to hang out, and actually pass out information to each other and write it down or read it. And it was like a good kind of fact. It was cool. We looked up into Illuminati cards, we looked up into 9/11. We went deeper into like the 13 families, like deep stuff, everything.
Good. And
yeah.
Actually, Matt, I can kind of hear you typing, man. I don't know if are you typing?
No, not actually.
Oh, you're not? I'm getting kind of a clicking. Are you guys hearing that at all?
Yeah.
Actually.
No, okay. Sorry, guys. I wasn't trying to call you out. Matt, stop typing. I just want to check. But Nene, I'll go back to you, Nene, and let me ask you this though, because you know you're the millennial generation, they'd say. So it's interesting. One of my friends, we just talked a few days ago, and he has a child that's I believe he's around 12 now, kid. But my buddy was talking about how when he looks at his kids' Instagram and things like this or whatever, he's seeing that there's a lot of kids in that age group, even a little older, maybe closer to your age, who are embracing Illuminati symbolism and Illuminati lifestyle and satanic type thing. Are you seeing any of that?
Yeah, like, kind of not really. A lot of people that I told about this, they were more like, you know, they don't believe in it, they hear it, they understand it, and they keep on moving on with their lives.
Yeah.
But then I realized that they are starting to wake up. They know the truth. They're getting more into it, and it's kind of cool and everything. Because I follow people on Instagram, like celebrities, and they see the symbolism and they're like Illuminati. And some people are like, it's not just style that they use, and I'm just like, only if you knew the truth.
Yeah, and Nene,
just can't be too pushy with them, you know.
Hey guys, we got another. Actually, we had another person trying to call in. It looks like let me get him in here. Hold on one second, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
This is live radio. Good times. This is my station manager. Let me see him on here.
I like it.
Angel. Angel, are you there? He's it's happening, guys. Like I told y'all before, I was saying actually earlier. I'm sorry. I told y'all earlier. I put this on the beginning of the show that every week there's some kind of like issues, you know, technical issues or whatever. And the last 2 weeks I didn't have chat, and now this week apparently I don't have it again. So I'm just finding. Here we go. He's going to back. Let's bring him on. See what's up. Hey, Angel.
KJ, you there?
Yeah, man. I lost my peeps, but that's okay. What's up, man? I thought I had the links. I started them.
No, man. You're not encoding. Did you hit the start link?
Yeah.
Okay, all that does is just restarts the auto DJ. You're supposed to hit the stop when you're going to go on air. Notice on your auto DJ, does it say disconnected or error or something like that?
Yeah, it says error thread shock execute.
Exactly. Yeah, you hit the wrong link, bro.
Shit. So, see, I didn't know I had to turn it off. I thought you started it for the show.
No. The links that they sent you, the auto DJ links, when you're going to go on air, you have to hit stop because you're stopping the auto DJ so you can encode onto the air. When you're done with your show, then you hit the start so you can restart the auto DJ as you're no longer on the air.
Awesome. That's seriously, it's first I've heard, man, but that's cool. I'll make, so it's too late to do it now, right?
No, you could go ahead and jump on. You still have till 10.
Okay, well, let me go ahead and, so I just need to go and stop it now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll stop it for you. Just go ahead and start encoding. I'll tell you right now when to stop.
Okay, hold on 1 second here.
Just start playing some music, get your peeps back on the line, and...
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm sure you're recording at least?
Yeah, man, we're on live right now. Like, this is the show right here, so...
Well,
let's see if...
send me the 2 files, one from last week also, so I could podcast it, because I don't even have them to podcast. And send me this one, and we can podcast also.
Yeah,
the entire show.
Okay, cool, man, cool. Okay, thanks.
All right. Go. You should be able to log in now. Is it already encoding?
Yeah, it's encoding. Okay, cool, thanks.
All right, man.
Okay, I guess I need to get back to these guys. Thanks, man.
That'd be a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, okay, later.
Bye.
Matt, you there? Live radio, guys. Good times, right? Okay, let's see here. How do I get these guys off of that? All right, Matt, Nene, you guys there? Matt and Nene. Hey, hello. Guys. Matt? Nene? Okay, hey, guys. Yeah. Thanks, man. Okay, yay. Once again, it wouldn't be Rigged Reality Radio without some kind of madness like this, but it looks like chat's actually up and running now, too, and all that, so that's good. But, okay, so there we go, guys. So we're back. Hopefully sounds a little bit better. We still have a good half an hour together, guys, so this is awesome. Thanks again, too, actually, for both of you for being here with me.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks.
You're welcome, guys. So, Nene, I just want to get back now. The last question we were talking about was about kind of your generation, the millennials. My buddy is seeing a lot of kids on Instagram embracing Illuminati culture. Is that really happening? Are you seeing that in your own kind of 18 to, I'm guessing you're, 19, 18 years old?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing more people, like, open up and try to expose people. They see it. They commented on, like, some videos. And they, like, talk about it, but then a lot of people are being kind of ignorant and choosing to, like, say, oh, it's just Illuminati, it's nothing. They try to throw the signals up on, like, some of their pictures and stuff they wear, and I'm just like, okay.
Are there a lot of people around your age that you can talk to about this stuff? Are there a lot of people you feel like kind of waking up?
To be honest with you, I did try to wake up, I did try to wake up my mom, but she makes it seem as if it's a joke, sort of, and it's like, okay, kind of weird, all right, okay. I tried. I'm not going to sit up here and try again. Like, I did what I did. I did try to wake up my best friend, but she was just more of, like, she didn't know what it was, and she didn't have the time to, like, look more into it. And then the friend I showed the videos to, she knew about it. She looked up a couple more videos, but then she stopped doing the research.
Well, Matt, I'll ask you the same question, man. How about you? I mean, in your group of your friends and your kind of culture you're hanging out in, I mean, do you guys talk about this kind of stuff a lot? What do you think?
No, I have very few friends that want to hear any of it, really.
Yeah.
And same with family, and especially I have to be careful talking to, like, my mom, because I think the truth will kill her faster than her health problems will,
Well, there was a story, you two, that I just saw earlier today. Can't remember where. I was doing a lot of news hunting. I'm making some videos right now, so I just go get things I need, But in that process, I saw something that it looks like Dianne Feinstein is attached to, and what they're trying to do is pass this new law. And I hope it's not already passed. I may have missed that. I need to go back and check. But they are trying to pass a law where anybody can tell on anybody else if they're concerned about their mental well-being, if they're talking about anti-gun control. You know what I'm saying? Even the religious and, all of it. New World Order, these code words. They're actually making a thing where you can call in secretly to the police anonymously, tell them where this person is. The police will come and interrogate that person and take away all of their weapons.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Right?
It's amazing, huh?
It is amazing, you guys.
That's crazy.
It is crazy, and I'm kind of piecing this big video together right now, but it's just, there's so many people out there doing great work on these kind of gun hoax things or these questionable shootings and stuff. So I've talked to some of these guys. I'm just going to compile a video with a lot of this work out there because some people are just meant to do it, and I know that some of these guys are great at it. So I'm going to put that out, but I'm also going to add my own stuff in there as well. And part of that is showing that all this stuff is obviously connected. People aren't, not everyone's paying attention, but all the weird banker deaths, been around 30 of them, the suicided guys. All the generals that are falling away under Obama, like, I don't know, a dozen, I think, in the last 6 years. So all these things are happening, along with all the monetary collapse stuff we're hearing about, all the weapons that Homeland Security and all these guys are buying, all the way to now they're starting to set up illegally, how they can come after us, anybody who doesn't agree with the New World Order. So you see it's all coming together.
Yeah, well, all you really have to do is become symbol literate, because then you'll see everything they're doing, Well,
that's true. Go ahead, and if you want to, Matt, are there any examples you want to throw out of that? Some of the symbolic things you've seen?
Well, I mean, as far as these lousy fake shootings that are happening every other day, we could see the obvious ones first. The Slenderman had 2, stories out the last weeks. I live with kids. Slenderman's been out of style for a while. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Creepypasta, I think.
Yeah, and, I mean, God, what I think is funny right now is those Vegas people.
Isn't that crazy?
They just won't stop showing the front of that Walmart and that big, a Walmart, that WM is a 33.
Yeah.
And then they have the spark after it, which, is a 6-pointed spark. We all know what that is, right?
Absolutely.
And I try not to call it a Jewish star, but it's easier than saying Star of David.
Well, it's true. I was going to say, all you do is draw the lines and it comes out, really. That's kind of exactly it.
It's a hexagram,
And they changed their logo. It's funny, right? They changed it to that like 5-6 years ago. It used to be kind of more of a sun symbol. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, they had just a star up until a year and a half ago.
Yeah, so they're all coming out like that. Even the Taco Bell, that's one of my favorites, but they changed their logo, and now if you look under the bell, it's an obvious 6 with the serpent eye in the middle, the devil's eye, if you will, and there's 3 on every building, 666. So that's one of my videos I get called. If I had a Bitcoin for every time I get called a retard on that video, I mean, people really go after that one. But that was one of mine from 2 years ago, Nene, do you see, I'm sorry, Matt, I was going to jump in Nene real quick, too. Nene, do you see the symbolism type thing? Are you into any of this stuff at all?
I just noticed, when I watch TV or if, I'm going on Instagram or all these social media sites, I do see a lot of more symbolism and everything. Yeah.
It's on everything.
It's, everywhere.
What's some of the ones you're seeing, Matt, around the shootings? I mean, Sandy Hook had some just amazing ones. I mean, so obvious, but go ahead.
I was going to add, too, the other place you're going to see Walmart all over the places right now is on that Tracy Morgan accident. They just won't shut up about that truck and won't stop showing it. And it's funny. It's almost like they're advertising and throwing symbols out,
Well, they also make sure they're constantly throwing out pictures of that guy wearing the Joker makeup and looking insane,
It's so stupid. Did you see the video of him talking as the Joker?
Not yet. I sit back a few days on these and then I tackle them later, but I need to. I've only seen a few things, but go ahead. What about it?
Well, I mean, that shooting, for instance, aimed at people like us that are looking. And this guy paints himself like the Joker, stands in front of America, says he's going to take out Obama and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, wow.
And the New World Order, sorry, babe, we can't hang out anymore because the New World Order and their shit,
Oh, my gosh. Really? Okay, I have to watch this.
Using all our popular terms, Wow.
Seriously, man. I hope he wasn't really subscribed to me.
Yeah. It's a warning shot at us, big time,
For sure, yeah. They're ramping it up. Go ahead, Nene.
No, nothing. I was just hearing what you guys were saying.
Okay, right on. But yeah, they're go ahead.
I could tell you that guy was probably not at Clive and Boogie Ranch, He often dresses as Joker and Slenderman. Well, I haven't seen a Slenderman picture yet. They built a fort inside Walmart out of merchandise. I want to see it, but I never will.
Well, I saw today they released the alleged 30 seconds of them about to shoot each other on the floor. Did you see that yet?
Yeah, and it didn't look too sweet.
It looks so like that. I'm a film student. I went to film school and I moved to New York and then L.A. So I know a little bit about that kind of filming stuff. But even just watching it reminded me of our early student films. When I was in school, I was like, this looks horrible.
Well, I mean, she shot at the dude from 6 feet away with a gun, and I didn't see any hair fly up from him, or I didn't see him jerk. I didn't see any blood. I didn't see nothing.
Well, what I hope the American people, start to get. I mean, the majority. I don't like talking down because there's plenty of people that get it, but hopefully more will because. Yeah, exactly. But is that that. There's been like 74 school shootings since Sandy Hook or something, or shootings. I'm going to do it. That's part of my video, but they really have been like that many knifings and shootings and all that. So they're ramping it up, guys. It's obvious, and it's just like going to keep coming, and then they're going to keep trying to push it because they got to try to disarm us. That's what's up.
Well, there's the disarming issue, but basically what it comes down to is control. They just want to take rights. They don't care what they are. They just want less rights for us.
Nene, I'm sorry.
With the gun issue being so prevalent in the stories, there's something else that they're hiding while we're all worried about the guns.
For sure, for sure. And Nene, again, just talking kind of to your generation, how do you and kind of your friends see your future? I mean, do you feel kind of good about it? Are you concerned? I mean, what do people think? What do y'all talk about? Do people care?
I think a lot of people are starting to care about what's going on or what's going to happen later in the future. We did do our research and everything, but we did kind of down the line split up. People started getting scared. There was this one moment where we were in school, and one of my friends that had, I think the notebook and everything, she had a message on her phone, and it answered that, it said keep it private, and it was kind of, weird. And I was just like, what does that mean? And I guess, the cameras or something was, they're all connected. It's all someone watching us. And then I think 2-3 weeks later, we got another one talking about keep it private, and I guess people just started splitting up and stopped actually doing this stuff. I just kept on doing it because it was interesting, and I couldn't really get off of it because it's a lot of new stuff that's always popping up in the media and in general.
We can't hide it, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So, you got to try to live and be happy the best you can.
That's totally it. Yeah, that's it.
It's still a really awesome planet we live on. I know it's a little broken, but
For sure, man, you're right. I totally agree, and it's not about the fear mongering. I mean, I know, coming from me, that might seem funny, but there's a method to my madness with the scariest movie ever and all that. But,
you're not so bad with it.
I try not to be too bad about it, but sometimes, and that's what I have to tell against some of the very religious people that will call me, and again, I am a believer and follower in God and Jesus, but these people will write me and whatnot, and just go off on me on things like that. With the fear mongering and things like this, and why does it have to be scary? Why can't we just rest in the love of Jesus and let everything happen the way it's supposed to? I mean, being serious, and I get mad at them. It's like you're being a lazy Christian, and you don't even have to be a Christian like you guys, or I don't even know, Nene, where you stand. But either way, anybody out there who becomes quote awake, whether you're a Christian or not or whatever, I think we have responsibility to keep studying and definitely let people know. That's what is happening. We're part of the awakening.
Or at least have our loved ones' backs that don't, they can't wrap their minds around this stuff,
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, I stay away from it with family and, some of my friends. I just keep it dumb. We have fun. We don't talk about this stuff.
Yeah, you'll find yourself losing friends. If
yeah.
You go to Thanksgiving talking like Alex Jones or Mark Dice. You're going to look dumb, and that's the point. They want you to look dumb, and they want you to think your family's stupid, and it's...
That's true, and you just said something I wanted to kind of get at too, because we're all kind of in an interesting peer group here on YouTube, but you said Mark Dice. What are y'all's thoughts on, Mark Dice?
I kind of don't really that much get into Mark Dice or Alex Jones. I hear that they're just, puppets along with just celebrities and everyone else that's a part of it, and I think Alex Jones just put too much on things. It's just kind of, I just gotta walk away.
Well, I agree. It's like, look at us right now. All three of us are talking about, really, if you think about it, some kind of horrifying things, but we're cool. Yeah. It's like, cool's the rule, you know? We're not freaking out over here, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, he didn't have to go on those shows and be like, you know, and they're kicking down your door, and they're raping your wife, you know? It's like, dude, relax, you know? It's cool.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that everything they say is lies. I think they tell a lot of truth, but the way they sell it's terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
And it's just like, I just noticed like a lot of Mark Dice videos when he gets to like Kesha, he has like a lot of hate against her, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes he's entertaining too, so, you know.
It's a mix for me, too. I watch some of his stuff, and I watch, you know, all of them. Occasionally, I'll still watch a little Alex Jones, depending on what the story is, you know?
Yeah, sure, you know. I'm subbed to Mark Dice, anyway.
Yeah.
I like to see yammering about sometimes, you know.
Well, I would love to get him on here. I'm going to have to try. I've been reaching out more and more to some of the bigger channels. I'm just kind of all over the map. You guys will see. I've got some great people coming up here in the future. But, yeah, I'd like to get him on. I don't think he would, though. I don't know.
I don't either, but I would listen.
Thanks.
I'd be interested.
Well, I'd really like to find out the real him, and I think it'd be an opportunity for him to... you know, just show people he's a real dude. You know what I mean? He may be a bit of a narcissist, maybe. Okay, given we all have some of those qualities, whatever. But if his heart's in the right place, then, you know, maybe he's just having some fun. I don't know. But I know he really peeves a lot of people off and goes about it the wrong way sometimes by shutting down the dialogue. It's my only issue with him.
I know he rocks the symbols. That's what I know, KJ.
you see it, huh?
Oh, yeah, I see his cubes and his V's and his 5s and that stupid pyramid he always has right behind him for you to stare at, you know.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
But, like, that dice on his microphone always has the 2 and 3 showing, so you have the 5, and the dice is a cube itself, and he puts that movie projector with the 6 circles on the wheel on it behind him all the time, you know.
Dude, that's the stuff I'm looking for from you, man. I like that. That's good. You're right.
It goes on and on. I mean, you know.
Mm-hmm. And what does the 5 mean? You know, I know what it means, but go ahead and tell the people. What does a 5 mean to us in this occult language?
I'm not going to tell you I know what it means exactly because, like I said, these symbols have so many different meanings. But what I've related it to is the goddess. It's Aquarius, the age of Aquarius. It's the 23. Yes. You have the 2 and 3. It's the 23. You can hardly turn on the TV, and that stupid 23 everywhere. And everything I relate to the goddess mostly. Goddess is not always bad. There's a blue one and a red one and all that business. But the goddess usually represents control, mind control, and that's what I think we're looking at with all the 5s and the V's. I mean, come on, logos that have no reason at all to throw the V capital and the rest of the letters lowercase.
Yeah, I agree. I see it all the time. Even in a lot of trailers for things, you'll see if there's a V in the title, they'll slowly dim out all the letters, but the V's the last one. It's, a lot of times it'll be shining, and it has nothing to do with the movie or anything.
Well, so that V is it's open legs is what it is.
Right. Yeah, I've definitely seen that side of it, and it's. Go ahead.
Yeah, especially at Easter time, you'll see many, many V's,
It's so crazy. And, see, that's a tough one for me is I don't like all those pagan holidays, but my family and friends all
like
celebrate.
Candy, But.
Yeah, I can't exactly. Candy's good, I'll eat the candy, sure.
But what are you going to do? Go to your grandma's house and tell everybody that, it's this...
Right. This is Ishtar. Holiday.
Yeah, well, it's Ishtar, and it celebrates the orgy of this and that, and you just can't go there and do that. So.
And be like, oh, you guys want to hear this. You do. Okay, so yeah, you're right. It goes back to that whole thing. We just, you got to live your life. You got to be cool. You got to enjoy as much as you can. And you want to operate on a high, not to sound like a hippie, but a high frequency. When you get those bad, gross feelings, we don't want to maintain those, and fear is one of them. Living in fear, is one of them.
Yeah.
But then fear is also an integral part of our waking up, though, isn't it, guys? I mean, wouldn't it? It's what happened for you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's got to be nervous moments, and maybe something's really wrong with you.
Exactly.
But I mean, you got to keep it in perspective. You just have to, and I think the biggest thing to remember is there's nothing you're going to really do about it except enlighten yourself. Excuse the word, but not everyone likes the word enlighten, but
I know what you mean, sure.
It's important for you to learn, and I, again, think it's important to have loved ones' backs. Someone's got to look at this stuff, you know?
Yes, everybody, you're right.
You know, it's the symbols, they've been around since time began, you know, since there was man, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So what you're looking at really is a misrepresentation and a misuse and an abuse of these symbols, you know?
Yeah.
And
well, let me ask you this with the goddess worship. Sorry to cut you off, but we have like 10 minutes. We still have a little time. Excuse me, guys. But with the goddess worship, what do you think they're ultimately trying to do? What is their goal by having all that symbolism in our culture? There's got to be an end game. What is it?
That red goddess, I mean, the blue one too to a point, but that red goddess is the goddess of mind control as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, she's not... she's the lady in red, obviously, but every culture has a red lady.
Oh yeah, that's huge. It's huge.
Yeah, seriously, I mean, I've been studying a lot about just ancient religion and
all the award shows. They're always in red, right?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Well, not always. You got blue ones too, and then the ultimate goal as far as the occult goes is to be purple, right? to get the best out of both sides,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's supposed to balance you out. And then your single eye is open and filled with light, according to the Bible, anyways. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, yeah, no, it's, absolutely. And yet, like you said, symbols have different meanings. I get a lot of that. A lot of people argue sometimes on my videos. I see that. But, yeah, it's much deeper than just Illuminati eye, pyramid. It's like there's a lot going on.
I don't even use that word.
Yeah.
I don't mess with it. It's, that's the red lady right there. Just,
Yeah.
They have no problem making themselves look bad if it's covering up something else altogether that they really don't want you to know. And what they really don't want you to know is God. Whatever God is for you, that's what they don't want you to know. Because if you do get enlightened at that point and you really are on a level where you have a good relationship with your God, then their control is smashed.
Spoken like a true believer, Matt. Listen to
Yeah.
you.
It's shattered. It's shattered. I don't care if you worship Buddha, if you really are training your heart, soul, and mind and eyes on all this stuff, their control's gone, over your soul anyway. You might still have to pay your bills and, go to jail when you don't pay this or that or whatever, but all the symbols you see in all the logos, they're all just, they're Latin.
Well, yeah, and I think that not everybody has to have such a deep understanding of all the symbols either. I think it's just the good old basic, as long as people get that there's more going on there, you know what I mean, whether we call it Illuminati or this or that, as long as people understand that there is a controlling group, and it is wicked, and it is evil, and regardless of people's religion or not, these people worship the devil openly, and more, it gets deeper. They're Luciferian and all that, right? So it's like, they're doing that. I've had a lot of atheists argue with me with this stuff, and it's just like, no, look, I'm not in the Illuminati, I'm not doing these people are doing that stuff, okay? I know you hate hearing that, but it makes you have to wonder, then there's gotta be a God, right? So.
Right. But, people are so weird, even, I can't say who it is because I don't want to offend them, but somebody that's very near dear to me, and is addicted to the news very heavily, and a big Obama supporter. She recently saw videos about Sandy Hook being a hoax.
Right.
But that's where it ends for her. She's not willing to recognize that all of them are hoaxes,
Oh, but she accepts that Sandy Hook is.
Yeah.
Oh, well then, okay. Well, that's all right, man. I mean, it was, I think it was Confucius.
She's getting there.
Oh, go ahead.
I said she's getting there, I guess.
Good, yeah, exactly, man. Just let them go at their own pace. I'm happy to see. I've got some friends that, that I don't talk about the stuff with. They know what I do, and then, like after we're alone, they'll kind of lean in and be like, "Hey, man," and they'll kind of start asking about things and talking. So that's good. I like that. And then eventually, you leave them alone. I do at least. I leave them alone, and I let them come back to me when they're ready. Because Most of my friends are married with kids, so they're really locked into the Matrix, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
They don't want to know this stuff.
You got to do what you got to do to take care of the kids, you know? And
right.
some of that's going to have to be letting go of your ego and just going with the flow a little bit. And you want to be a little angry about it, go ahead. But, I mean,
absolutely.
You know.
Well, guys, hey, I wanted to say I've got about 5 minutes, so I'll give you all a little bit of time here. Is there anything y'all wanted to leave us with? Nene, anything else on your mind?
Nothing really. I just really wanted to know about what happened or what I felt that day and everything.
Well, I tell you, I believe that you really felt something, and you said that just before it happened you were looking at an Illuminati-type video, symbols and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, see, as Matt and I were talking about, the symbols have a lot of meanings, and they also have a lot of different purposes. But one purpose, I think it was Foster Bailey wrote about this, but one purpose is really, it is to kind of be a portal, if you will, and to send intention to you. Because when they create these symbols, a lot of times it has to do with the intention they create it with and what's behind it. And then you get that put on you, okay? Now, that's a big part of the reason why it's important for us to wake up, because when we understand symbolism and all that, we're not getting attacked subliminally anymore like that. It's like that whole thing where when you're little and still kind of innocent, you know? I mean, I don't know how innocent anybody is now. I'm still fairly innocent, I guess, but I like to think I look at the world like a child. But you know, when we were younger and really innocent, remember you'd see something dirty on TV, and just that guilt and pain and just yuck you used to feel and things, you know, it's like that was ingrained in us, you know?
Right, exactly.
But I think people are losing all that. Go ahead, Matt.
We're all ingrained, and no matter what we all learn and what we all look at, we're still going to fall for things. We all are.
Right. And what I wanted to say, though, too, just about like that is that, you know, the point is that as children, let's say, we get those feelings when we're seeing like the Illuminati symbols and things like that because we didn't understand the symbols yet. We didn't understand the power. I don't know if that makes any sense, but we were all programmed this way for years. You know, I believe that. Yeah. So now we know it. Now we see it. So honestly, Nene, the way I see it is something possibly could have popped out, you know, and then followed you. And these things are attracted to the light. And you're a believer, I believe, right? I think if we discussed that probably. You believe in God and Jesus?
Yeah,
all that.
I do.
Yeah, I think we discussed that. And that's all right. So, yeah, so you know, and I believe there's a light there, and I think these things are attracted to it, and it probably popped out and followed you home, but then you got your Bible and you prayed, and I'm sure you're safe and everything's... You're better now, right? Like that went away, yeah? So, I mean, and you've seen my videos, and I say this, and I'm not even just kidding around. I mean this, like, the veil is lifting, and I believe there's more spiritual attacks. I'm not trying to scare people, but that goes back to my faith, of course, and why I believe that's important, because we have to be protected by these entities that are coming at us full force in a lot of ways. And all these portals opening up, symbolism everywhere, and you know, we're seeing this with all these bath salt quote-unquote attacks and all the weird demonic activity all around. It's really happening. So that's why in these days it's sensitive. We're all sensitive souls and spirits. We're all activated, and I think it's time to really be really careful what we take in and let in. You know what I mean?
Right.
So not to go off on whatever, but guys, I got a couple more minutes. I need to go ahead and jump off here in a second, do some commercials, and bring on Jer Lynn for the second hour. But hey, guys, it's been a pleasure. You know, anything else last minute, Matt?
Well, you know, of course, I have to recommend people come to my channel, Chainsaw Barbarian.
Please do. Yes, please do.
Yes, please do, and please, you know, if you guys have a problem with what I'm saying, please come ask me. You know, I'm not always right, but I'm telling you, when you get to that level where you see it on everything, you're not crazy. You might feel crazy, and it might knock you on your ass. I've been knocked on my ass several times.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Go ahead, Matt.
And I really appreciate you having me on, KJ, and I hope we do it again one day.
Absolutely, man. It was a pleasure as well. And Nene, anything else from you?
Nice to meet you too, Nene.
Oh, thanks. Thank you for letting me be on and express what I had troubles with and everything, and get some answers and gain more information, because I'm still researching to this day. And thank you, KJ. Thanks, Chainsaw Barbarian.
Sure, hey. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, and I hope it helps somewhat. And yeah, guys, you're awesome. We'll definitely talk again soon. And until then, you all take care, okay? Thanks again. All right, guys. So, wow, it was a nice talk, nice discussion there we had for the first hour. So, once again, you guys, this is KJ on Rigged Reality Radio, your alternative to the alternative. I hope you all got something out of that first hour. I'm excited about our second hour. We're going to go ahead and go to a few commercials here, and I'll be right back with Jer Lynn.
are common in the United States and internationally. An estimate 26.2% of Americans ages 18 and older suffer from some sort of mental illness. Now, this figure translates to 57.7 million people who suffer from some sort of mental breakdown. If you find yourself laying in bed on a Sunday night, hearing voices while you're trying to sleep, well, it might not be that demonic being from another dimension trying to kill you where you sleep. It might just be your mental illness starting to kick in. So if you're out of meds for the night, then I have just the thing. Come listen to my show, The Jackal's Head. You can check out our Listen Live page only on www.psn-radio.com. See you there. This ad has been paid for by The Jackal's Head and the War on Terror.
War. It's fantastic.
It's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Here's a riddle for you. What do the California Gold Rush of the 1850s, secret societies, coded messages, mysterious 19th century flying machines, and an early 20th century outside artist named Charles A.A. Delshaw all have in common? The Secrets of Delshaw by Dennis Crenshaw and Pete Navarro. Go to www.secretsofdelshaw.com to learn more.
TalkStream Live introduces our first ever iPhone application, Mobile Talk Radio. Imagine having the freedom to take live talk radio with you anywhere you go. You'll be surprised how easy it is to use.
So I think what's going on here is that Obama is banking on unemployment falling.
Listen to live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. TalkStream Live. Now available in the iTunes App Store.
All right, guys. Hey, welcome back. This is KJ once again with Rigged Reality Radio, your alternative to the alternative. So this is our second hour. We appreciate you coming back here and listening. And I've got a great guest on the line here. This is Jer Lynn. And Jerrae Lynn and I are friends on YouTube. I've always been a big fan of hers because she has a very unique voice. And let me explain. She's very awake, just like a lot of us, okay? But what's to me really stands out is she's also a mother and a wife, and seems to be a very good one. And we'll let her talk about that. But it's not even, I don't know what good is. You know, we'll get into that later. But the point of the matter is that she's very awake, and she talks openly and just great depth and great points all the time, almost like a philosopher. And I say that with love because we're both from the same state, Oklahoma, and we're just going to get started. We got some different subjects we're going to cover. Jer Lynn, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, it's great to have you.
Oh, thank you for having me. I've never done anything like this, so.
Oh, cool. Well, it'll be fun. It's going to be laid back. You know, we just got a little time to talk, and definitely I've seen some of your videos on there, and I always like your approach to things, and I just want to let you have the floor for a little bit. Now, I've seen most of your videos, so I kind of know your history and the background, and it's incredible. That's actually what got me into your channel, was kind of seeing your testimony, if you will, and things like this. Now, it's up to you, whatever you want to go into. I just wanted to say you got the floor. If you want to go into your history, kind of let us know about how you got into being awake and what that transition was, and just whatever you want to share. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, I don't know when it's been about 3.5, 4 years. I think we started to, we went through the Alex Jones route, but really before that, I was in recovery, and that's all I did. I'd been in, you know, because I sobered up and been sober, so, and just things weren't sitting right with me politically. I was getting into questioning things. I even was listening to Glenn Beck back then, and I just, you know, something was not sitting right with me, and I had a long prayer, and, you know, I was talking to God, and I said, you know, what is really happening? What is really going on? I'm missing something here. And that's when I started finding these avenues, started doing research, got online, found YouTube, and started to realize, how deep the lie is. And truthfully, I'm just, even now today, realizing even more. It's like a never-ending thing. I mean, it's like the rabbit hole, or this awakening is never-ending. So yeah.
No, you're right. And I mean, I'm with you on even, it's funny you said the Alex Jones thing, because my guest last hour was the same thing, it's like, and I'm the same way. It was Bohemian Grove woke me up, and you know what Bohemian Grove is, of course, with Alex Jones, right?
Yeah, I've seen that. And we went through that route. We watched those movies. We my husband was with me at the same time doing it, and we did our own research aside from that, just to make validate it. And because we were like, it's that movie They Live. It's kind of like you kind of wake up to that fact. Is this really happening? Is this really what it? And then so then it just changes. I think it changes everything. I quit going to meetings. Because I started to feel like, in a way, that was becoming a cult. And the religious thing, I started looking into the prophecy and got really involved maybe on YouTube in more of the Christian realm as far as like the prophecy and those things. And I still have, I believe in Christ and God. Nothing changed there, but my beliefs surrounding that and what I was raised to believe all kind of crumbled, and that's kind of happened within the last year. So,
well, that's something. Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to say quickly that that's something too that we'll definitely be discussing tonight, because your views on kind of faith and all that and anti-religion, we're on the same page, so we're going to get into that as well. But keep going, please.
Yeah. So but that's kind of how I came about all this. Like a lot of us, I think we all, I think that Alex Jones, he's called a gatekeeper, all this stuff, and this Bill Hicks crap. I don't know if I buy that, but I do see where it is a lot of fear. I mean, if you get plugged into that constantly, it can freak you out. Like I do think a lot of this, hence, I try to take breaks and get involved in, just the normal stuff, like gardening with my family.
Yes.
And pull away from this because it can be too much, because then you get real involved. And of course the internet and YouTube can take on a life of its own, as far as this, it's been a really kind of insane thing in a way. For my husband's not into YouTube, and he kind of looks at it as another form of control, and he's right, there is. And I think the biggest thing is not to be scared. And I think the only way for me is to, for me not to overcome that is really if you're grounded in what your truth is, if God, the creator. To me, that's the key to it all. Or otherwise, I'd probably be, sorry, my dogs.
Oh, that's all right.
Oscar. Yeah,
I think I've heard him in your other videos too.
Yeah, we had a little video with him walking with us, but so I mean, that's kind of how I woke up. I guess like kind of everybody else kind of seems to have the same story along those lines, but I do believe Alex Jones is kind of a, like I said, a little promotion of more fear than anything.
Yeah, like an Operation Mockingbird, something like that. Yeah.
Well, and you can harp about the government for so long, and then at some point what are you going to do?
Well, you covered a lot of things we can kind of touch on, a lot of subjects I wanted to hit you up with. But yeah, starting with the Alex Jones stuff on the fear thing, exact same thing. Like I said, we were just talking about it. Same thing with when he went on TV. Look, you and I are talking about some stuff now. We'll be talking about more, but we're going to be talking about some scary stuff. This stuff is scary. There's no getting around it. I mean, it's weird. It's creepy. It's, and I mean, I'm in the game. I've been doing it 8 years, and I'm doing my job. So I bring out all this dark, weird stuff. I'm trying to show a mirror, if you will. But I take a lot of breaks. I just, we're from Oklahoma. You know where Kitchen Lake is? Have you heard of that?
Kitchen Lake? No, I don't.
Okay, it's small. It's out there near Moore. But I hit that sometimes, or even Thunderbird. Of course, you know Thunderbird.
Yeah, Thunderbird.
So
yeah.
I'd hit that too. Just in Oklahoma, just to get away. But wherever I am, I always take a lot of breaks. I balance it out. I stay goofy and fun in my real life. And I just try to keep all the negative energy out because. this is where you and I meet again, because I am into talking about even frequencies or energy, if you will, the energy that we are, because I lived in LA 7 years. I've mentioned this on other things, but I worked in TV for a while, have some friends out there. One of my buddies out there is a director, and him and his wife were really into Abraham Hicks. You know who that is?
It's a lady, isn't she?
Yes. Oh, it's Esther Abraham and Esther Hicks, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I've listened to some of her. I've listened to some of her. Abraham. I guess that would be her husband.
Or she's channeling him. I don't know. It's something weird. I don't remember all that.
That's funny because I've just recently, in the last week, been kind of listening to her. And it says Abraham Hicks, so I've just, it's kind of weird or odd. But yeah, I guess I didn't know she was channeling him.
It is weird. Well, see, my thing is now, I'm not a fan of it. I read all that. This is 7-8 years ago. I read all the stuff. Now, the thing that I see, and it's another deception, just the way I see is they take something true. Like, I do believe that energy, like attracts like, and, you walk around thinking negative all day long, you're eventually going to get cancer. I believe things like that. It's going to happen. So I get that, but they take it to me and they turned it into more of like a materialism type thing. Because even my friends, him and his wife, they have like a board where they put pictures of like blue-eyed babies and yachts, and they put it up on their ceiling so they can focus on that all the time and get it.
Oh, weird. Yeah, see, that's not important to me. That kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm with you. To me, the material part, a part of the brain and the brainwashing and the programming is for us to focus on everything on the outside to fulfill ourselves. And ultimately, that doesn't work, and that was a part of the awakening as well, as realizing that everything that I wanted, whether it was the new car or whatever, the clothes, all that, was because I was told that you know what I mean? You pull that all away. Do you really need all that? I mean, I'm not saying having nice things is wrong. I'm just saying the fact that I was needing that I thought I needed to fulfill myself with, because things fulfill you. Yeah. So, yeah, I think it can get a little hokey. I do, like you said, there is truth in a little bit of what everyone says. I do think everyone can add to this puzzle, if you will, but I do think there is a great deception, where it becomes, I just can't imagine. That's fine if they want to do that. I just can't imagine focusing on weird pictures. And, I think whatever I receive in my life is meant that it's, I look at it as a gift or a blessing or a lesson. And I just am thankful for it. We're pretty simple folk. And
same way. I'm the same way. Yeah. Just keep, cool is the rule is what I say. Just keep it cool. It's like we're saying earlier, like Alex Jones on that show, he's like, and they're going to bust in your door and they're going to kick your face and they're, and all that. Yeah. Like that, you don't have to do that, man. Like you can just sit here and talk about it. Yes, it's scary stuff, but you've got to be reasonable, and be cool about it,
Yeah, I think that there is a way. I think sometimes that shock value is good to wake you up, but after a while, that's why I think some of us we move away from that because, like you said, you can't just be hearing. You can't listen to that all the time.
No, but he's what he is he's the gateway drug into the truth. I think that's what he is for a lot of people.
Right. That's a good way to put it. I never that way. Yeah, totally.
Because he rocked me when I saw that. I'm 8 years military. I was in the military 8. My last career was bounty hunting down in Austin. So I kind of have wish I could have done more of that. I was actually feel like I was being trained for like a whole year in the very beginning, and it's a long story. But my point is that that's the background there. And oh my gosh, I'll go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, if you, I don't know if you wanted me to kind of talk about my background prior to the awakening. Like I said, I had been in recovery prior to that. I did have a very bad drug problem for many years, which was methamphetamines. And so, and I did find my way, off the streets because I was so desperate. I said a simple prayer and I did get clean and, got clean and sober, met my husband. My life improved. A lot of great things happened, but I tell you, I was, there's like a very small percentage that ever make it off of meth. And when I look at that now, I'm so thankful. And I do have friends and people that I lost, to that drug specifically.
Wow.
It's a dirty little drug. And I, it was a part of, I think when I look back, even go back in childhood, I think even as children, if we want to talk about this awakening, as a child, I knew something wasn't right. I didn't like, school, church that I was forced to go to constantly. All this I had a problem with. It was like, this is all BS. I hate it. And then I was told I was a bad little girl because I didn't want to go along with it. So I grew up with thinking I'm bad. Yeah.
Going to hell. Yeah, it's over. You're done.
I try. So I went the opposite direction, which is self-destructive. And then, I think this whole journey to even coming to where I'm at today has all been as it's supposed to be, because I couldn't have handled this information, 10 years ago even, because my faith even then was a little shaky, and I didn't even know if I believed in God then.
And the reason I like that and I appreciate you being open, but one of the things I really appreciate about that testimony is that, especially what you've been through, is that the way I look at you is, because I'm fascinated with the culture of psychopaths and narcissists that's rising right now. I see a lot of that stuff, and that's what I've been studying a lot lately, and also the idea of the, quote, Jezebel spirit, or the incubus and succubus and all this. But when I look at you, when I get to know you, I really feel you're a human being who survived an attack by a very serious Jezebel spirit, among others.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Of course. And let's see. My whole lifestyle prior, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll was huge, obviously, part of my life. And I lived that lifestyle, which it is a lifestyle. And I was into a lot of witchcraft, if you will, at the time. Hung out with witches and all these little, things, and was involved in stuff, and tarot reading and astrology. All the while I was using and drinking and going out. And like I said, my addiction eventually took me to a place where I was willing to do whatever I had to do to get it. It was a short amount of time that I did that, though, but it was, it was definitely a Jezebel spirit. I was married to a psychopath, a true psychopath for many years, which was my older two kids' father, which is in prison now. And, that in itself was crazy. He was a drug dealer when I met him. So I met him straight out of when I was a teenager.
Wow.
And left a very good, really strict religious home. And he was the opposite of everything that I was raised,
Yeah.
So, I was the little black sheep of the family, if you will. And that being married to him and going through, all those years of, living that lifestyle. I mean, I was, he cheated on me. I cheated on him. I'm not perfect. It was just a disgusting lifestyle. And using off and on, and didn't use when I was pregnant and all those things. But some people don't believe me, but I didn't. I stayed sober, and I tried to be careful around my children, obviously, at the time when they were small. But when I look back on it, I had no business having kids.
Wow.
And I regret that I don't regret them. I love them both. They're obviously they're here today, and I love them.
I was going to say, Jerrae, be careful, because surprise, I have them on the line. Okay, just kidding.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just regret that they've had to go through so much, and I do think that, that's probably the when I look back on one, if I have a regret, because I do believe that I did a lot of horrible things in my life to myself, and to me, I'm glad in the way, because it's made me who I am today. But if I have one regret, it's my kids and what they've had to suffer through, as far as not having I married the wrong guy, period. And
you're allowed to make mistakes. It's all good.
So that was and there's a lot of missing. I can't remember a lot of stuff at that time, but that's pretty much how it worked out for me. 28, 29 is when I started. I left him. I got into the risque stuff, call girl type things, to take care of my habit, period. I mean, I had the intravenous at that time. So I was really lost, and I didn't really care anymore. I felt I was been used by men my whole life anyway. So I thought, I'm going to use them. And I didn't care, didn't have any emotions. I was very cold and calloused, and you know, and I didn't care if I died. And so, so when I sobered up and my life changed, which was a whole nother growing up experience, to live life sober, and not have to cope with using, life with having to use something.
Yeah.
Met a wonderful man, who's still with me today, and he's sitting here on the bed. He's working though. He works a lot, but so it's been God's been good. I can't complain. I feel like my life feel like I've been chased by something, but I think we all are.
Well, I was going to say on that kind of in that transition of, getting into the spiritual side of things or whatnot, 'cause, you've been down some dark paths, and there's somebody here on YouTube, I can't bring out their name, but they had been an exotic dancer, and we have talked in the past. They had been one, but they had a story that when they were dancing one time, the reason they stopped and became a Christian is because they saw some evil in some people's eyes and things like that were there watching, right? So, and I hadn't talked to this person in probably about a year now. This isn't back in the day, and I tried to get that video and upload it, but she didn't want me to. So, which was a very interesting testimony. I'm telling you, it blew me away. And I had talked to her off and on YouTube, and I knew she was legit, like a new Christian and all this, if you will. But the story blew me away, and I believe that thing happens when people leave those lives and they let in all these portals with the drugs and the this and the that. Then I think these things come through. Have you ever had, because that's also something that leads people to God, of course, but have you ever seen anything like that from the spiritual side?
Oh, yeah. At those times, it was kind of funny. I was in such a dark world. I was also working as a barber at the time, and I had a lady tell me, when you come in the room, there is something, something with you, and it's bad, and it's very demonic. And I would just look at her like she's crazy. But I knew what she was talking about because everything that I was involved in, I saw manifestations of, in people's eyes. I saw manifestations of dark, blobby spirits, if you will, in just my normal life. And it tormented me. It was, I was in a lot of fear, but I felt crazy too, because I was using. Nobody would believe me. And I was involved in, all the tarot cards and the in astrology and had given readings, and I was also involved in I played the Ouija boards, all that stuff. And that to me, I think when you start messing with Ouija boards, it's foolish, because I do believe you just kind of opening the door. But I think we open doors. You can open doors with just having an anger and issue. Oh yeah. Yeah. And so I was just kind of, I had some really, some very, bad things happen. I knew, there was there was a time right before I sobered up that I, experienced something that, I'll never forget. And I should have died that night, and why I didn't, I don't know. Something,
Well, yeah, of course now, but go.
Yeah, it was really dark, and it was a very scary time. And at the time, like right before I sobered up, I was all alone, in my own little apartment. At the time, my ex was married to actually a nice lady, which was really kind of cool for the couple of months that I was really out of control, which was seriously.
But that's what they do, right? Usually the psychopaths, they love the empath, they feed off of that. Are they still together?
No, she left him in a hurry, which
Good for her.
So, but at the time he was married to her, and I trusted her, and I wanted, the kids were there, and because I was involved in with people and things that I didn't want them around. So yeah, it was a very that's another part of it. It's so selfish. I had become I'd become what I hated at that time, obviously, and yeah, so out with all that. But yeah, that was a dark time. There are a lot of things that happened, and probably don't want to talk about.
Well, you're good. I was actually just going to ask too. Then, with all that being said, then what was that kind of boom turning moment? There had to have been something.
Well, the day that I did it, I was I had met my dealer and bought what I needed, and I went back to the apartment alone, and I flushed everything, crying, and because I was like, I can't stop, but I don't want to do this anymore. And then so I laid on my bed, and next thing you know, I'm calling him up, and I'm going to meet him again. I come back and flush it again, and I just cried and laid on the bed, and I said, okay, if you're real, this God, I don't know if it's the God that I grew up hearing about, I don't know, but if you're real and can you make me clean? Can you help me? Can you make me new again? Because I'm not going to make it, and I can't stop. And, I had all my kids' voices were coming to me all the time at that time, because I was going to die. I had visions of me being buried, and I knew that the time was coming, and I didn't really care, but I had that one last opening there. I think that I reached out, and I tell you, the next thing I know, my mom is picking me up, and she's like, do you want to go to a meeting? And I'm like, what's a meeting? And when I was like, yeah, I'll do anything. And I literally went in my pajamas, some, sleep pants. And I just, from there, I never looked back. So, and that was what it was for me. That helped me. I needed every moment I had in there. Although I don't go today. But I think everything's for a reason, so yeah.
Well, yeah, and everything you're saying, I genuinely, as you're talking, I'm not trying to sound goofy, I never do this, but I really think someone out there needs to hear this, it's very important, it's good, so I appreciate that very much, and I wanted to ask too now, just kind of jumping ahead a little bit, because you're awake now, we've gone through this, you found your faith, you're awake now, you're a mom. And you see how real things are because I see your videos. You know what's going on. You get the gist. How do you handle a family and knowing these things? Do the kids understand it? Does your husband prepping? Are you prepping? Just go ahead and run with that if you don't mind.
Yeah. We started preparing a few years ago together. And he was, like I said, we kind of woke up together with some stuff, 3 or 4 years ago, I guess what it was. And he thought I was a little going overboard getting things. And, he said, he's real level headed. And then he started realizing after he kind of gotten into it with me and then started doing a little more, he's glad that we have what we have. And that it's not, we don't have a bunker and we didn't go crazy, because there comes a point that I believe God is going to, take us where day comes with what we don't have,
I'm with you.
You know what I mean? And I think for my kids, that's my main, it's like you get this instinct, okay, I've got to get my cubs safe and make sure they're going to have everything they need. And then being a mom with all this, well, it's just been changed my views on schooling and the public school system. Both of us, we did transition to homeschooling the kids, which was not easy because at the time I was working, and I was actually working for my husband at the time at his company. And we made the decision together to homeschool the 2 younger ones. And because we just realized, we want to give them a foundation of learning, but without the because when they're at the age now, they're not really getting into history and things like that per se, like they would in school.
Yeah.
So we're just, we're doing the basics, the math and the English and, reading and things and some science and things like that. But not have a bunch of the things that happen in school anymore, which we don't.
Yeah, gross stuff. Common Core. I did a video on that a while back. Yeah, ugh, unbelievable.
Yeah, and so, we live in a district, though, that the schools are really good in the district we have, and we're not going to rule out that they'll never go to school. But at this point, like I said, we're taking it a day at a time, and we want to build a foundation for them of, just teaching them and allowing them to have a more open mind.
Yeah.
We don't take them to church. Because why, obviously, all that.
Yeah.
But we do exhibit our lifestyle with them in a way that's healthy. We do make mistakes. We have our own problems as far as, in marriage. When you're married, it's hard, but me and my husband we have a good time together. He's funny. We've had our problems, ups and downs in this marriage, and which has been a whole other story in its own, but he's the most important thing to us is our family, keeping it together in a time that, everybody's bailing on one another.
Family's under attack.
Well, yeah, the energy is really, like when we want to get into energy, there is this heaviness and there is this effect of the world and the cosmos, if you will. All this is this change. It puts a lot of pressure, and all the entertainment, all the TV, everything is all about self, gimme.
Well, do your kids watch it? How do you do with that? I'm really glad you're homeschooling. How do you do with their television time and things like that?
Well, we try to limit it and keep an eye on them as far as what they really don't. It's funny, we kind of taught them about the symbols and they've asked us what it means, and they ask us what our faith is. We're open to them about what we believe. We pray together, all that, but we try to, with on their own, they've kind of been like, I see that or I see this. They're not really, they do play a lot of internet games, which we watch and monitor, but we try to get them out of the house when we can, obviously, because we're outdoors a lot and we want them to be normal kids. At the same time, this whole TV computer system age that we live in is meant to lock kids into the video games, into this machine. Mm-hmm. And it's easy for the parents to say, okay, hey, they're out of my hair. They're doing that. While we go do whatever in the house or whatever. And, it's really it's not easy, but we just try to teach them, like this is what this is. And, this is what this can do. And we're not trying to brainwash them our way. We're trying to tell them the truth without scaring them. Mm-hmm. And a lot of prayer, man. I mean, prayer goes a long way with kids.
Well, that's true, and I'll throw this one at you as well, as far as that goes, because as far as what we're exposed to and everything, and this is going to go a little bit deep. I know you'll be with me on this, but so my background myself, my dad is a big horror and science fiction fan. Like, he's into all this. So when I was a kid coming up, I mean, we watched it all. This is back in HBO Cinemax, back when around the first decade of that. I kind of grew up in all that stuff. So, we're watching 2 o'clock in the morning. He's coming and getting me to go watch Chainsaw Massacre movies and stuff like this. You know what I mean? So yeah. And I mean, I was raised in the church. They're a good church going. Okay, my parents, I love them. They're very religious, but they also understand my feeling for not going to church and stuff. Anyway, all that being said, so I was raised in that. Then growing up, I was a big dude into monsters and scary stuff. I went to film school. I got my degree in screenwriting and a minor in editing. Moved to New York and worked with low-budget horror 2 companies for a while, and moved to L.A. and was writing horror stuff and had meetings and all that. My point of saying that is not to toot my own horn, but to give you an idea that I was raised in the programming too. Of course, at the very worst, I've seen it all. I mean, really, really messed up horror and stuff, my whole life. And but I remember, and this is where it goes deep. What I think is this: I think once you accept God and Jesus, once you have the Holy Spirit, once you kind of have that protection and that whole thing going on, and it happened for me at 11, I did it at 11, I genuinely think we're protected by these things, and we know it kind of. It's like I remember even every movie I'd see that was bad, every time I'd see something that was bad, I would recognize it was bad. I was like, I know there's a hidden message in there about homosexuality or whatever. No offense, of course, out there, but you know what I'm talking about, that agenda's in so many things. Or there's a hidden message in there about killing your mother when she won't let you be with your boyfriend. I saw all that growing up. I knew it was wrong, but I still enjoyed the movie for what it was. Go ahead.
Well, it's interesting that you bring up the horror movie thing. I had always been a horror movie fan growing up. My dad as well he loved horror movies. He would take me to go see Creepshow, and I remember that he'd let me watch The Exorcist and all those, and I just loved horror movies. So, and I loved werewolf movies, was my favorite. And so I grew up, and I think that is, to me, the message behind it all, but I think what it did for me, and then as I got older and watched TV as an adult, I was into all these death movies, like how to solve the solving these murder mysteries and stuff, and I had an obsession with it. I've always kind of tend to be an obsessive personality, obviously.
What about Investigation Discovery? Did you ever get into that?
Yeah, all that.
Me too. Okay, go ahead.
All that stuff. I loved it. In the History Channel, obviously, but but yeah, I wanted that was like, I was obsessed with that kind of thing. It was so interesting to me, but it did bring a lot of fear into my life. So I think from that alone, I just, because fear, like you said, it goes, when we're young, there was something that did happen. I do believe there was a blessing in my life, and a lot of praying obviously saved me, or I would not be alive today. But so, yeah, there's that knowing, but not knowing, right? Because you're confused because of all this weird, this it's backwards world we live in. But I do think that, it's going back to the horror movie thing. There is a subliminal underneath all that. It has a lot of fear. I do believe it opened the door for me to get into the occult and all that stuff.
Sure.
And I've studied and have gone back to even study some of the, the occult astrology and mythology stuff, but I don't practice it, if that makes sense. I don't use it, and, I don't need it, right?
No,
I don't need future.
I know, and I'm glad you got the background. I think it's important for some of us, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm saying when I first got sober, I threw all that out. I got rid of everything, and then I, got into recovery, and then we started trying to go to church, and I, was trying to be Christian and do everything right, and thought everything was evil. I do believe there is evil, though, but when I've had this kind of this awakening, this process, it's caused me to go look back into some things to understand how they use it against us as a weapon.
Sure.
And that's it. So, but yeah, it can open up a doorway. I think of the horror movies and stuff. I still have a weakness for them, but not as bad. I don't like, the blood and guts. I like a real good mystery, but
yeah.
Those movies, we just don't watch demented ones. And, there's just we've actually just turned off a movie before because it's been so bad that we're just not going to let them right? We'd watch it maybe, but not the kids, but
well, check this out. This reminds me of something really random, but so, I've mentioned to you before, I move a lot. I've lived in a lot of different places, and I'm already, almost 1 foot out the door where I'm at now, but I'm always moving, it feels like, and I'll stay somewhere a few years and do different things, different jobs, but I totally forgot what I was about to say there. Sorry, I was sitting here looking at the chat room as I was sitting there talking to you. Go ahead. What were you just talking about? Kind of remind me.
Okay, you were just saying that.
I remember.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay. Do you remember? And this is an Oklahoma thing. Do you remember Convergys? Do you know what that was? It was in Moore.
Converges, yeah.
Okay, off I-35 by Walmart and all that stuff.
Yes.
Okay, so for just a little spell, I did a job there when I was transitioning back into Oklahoma there for a while. Okay, I actually got a job there, and it was the worst job I've ever had in my life. Like, I don't do it right now. I got out of it, but it was really horrible. All right, and here's kind of why. And this is a while back, but, I usually don't have TV. I stay away from all that. There's I watch Walking Dead online and a couple of other things, but I'll watch some stuff. But I had just gotten into that ID, that investigation discovery. I would never have gotten into it, but the place I was staying, I move around a lot too, like I said, but the place I was staying, they had a TV. I was only there for a few months at the time. So I actually caught Wives with Knives, which, of course, totally blew me away. And I was addicted. I'm Saturday afternoons, we're laying around watching, marathons of this stuff. Okay. So,
yeah.
but then what happened was then I'm working at this DirecTV job. And what I'm doing is I was one of the manager guys who I had to calm the really angry customers down. And I didn't do this very long. But I dealt with these people. But the weird thing is at that job is that you have free DirecTV in your console. So you're there for 8, sometimes 10 hours staring at a screen and watching anything you want. All the movies, all of this, all of that. And I was watching Investigation Discovery 8 hours a day there, anything I could. Then I was jumping over to Lifetime because they had those true crime stories. I started watching those. I went through about a month of getting addicted to it. And then I went probably where you're kind of going to is I suddenly felt oppressed. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't do TV, but I got sucked into this thing. It's all I watched. And now I just, I felt like garbage,
I think it's like with anything, and even YouTube or anything. For me, I've realized, okay, I got sober and did not use, drugs anymore per se. but I find myself in new addictions. Okay. So, it really was not a drug problem when I realized when I got sober, it's living with reality and dealing and trying to live a right life, right? It was not something I was used to doing. And then when we look back on it all, and I do have a lot more compassion today for people. I do get angry at people because I see a lot of, when I say I see dead people when I go places, what I mean is I think the walking zombies are the people that are lost in, in the technology and the phones and the things that they're just kind of just like drones, but I do think there was yes, please. Sorry. I totally lost my train of thought too.
That's okay. You were saying the drones, the kids look like drones and people are locked in the matrix out there in public and. Yeah, there are. You can see that a lot.
But I do have compassion, meaning I realize, and we want to bring up the homosexuality issue. This came to my mind. I think, prior when I was very religious thinking, okay, and it wasn't that I was, like I said, my faith or my, knowing Christ and God, because I experienced the love of that truth was there, but I used to look down on all that, and I would think, oh, homosexuals, everyone's evil, and it's that self-righteous crap that it's just like religious spirit, and but I think we need to. What I kind of want to look at is that, which is kind of something I've been thinking of. There's they're putting stuff in the food and the water. Okay, we know that.
Yes.
And all the frequencies and the movies and all these little teeny bopper shows promote homosexuality. And so I have the question, and I pose it to people: how can they be? Granted, I believe it's not natural. Okay, so period. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It's not a natural act. Okay, we know that,
right.
And it doesn't reproduce. But what I'm saying is, they get demonized because obviously it's so promoted and put in our face. But at the same time, some of these people coming up and these kids their whole biological bodies are changing. And to being where they don't even know, there's this, if they want a girl or they want a boy. I've seen it as teenagers, and they're all sleeping with I mean, it's really kind of scary. I've watched the generation of my daughter.
I was going to ask you about that, and quickly, just to add, bisphenol A, all the stuff they're putting in, but what they've done, and this is all studies on this, but what they've done is now the boys, of course, are feminized, and now all the girls are like hyper-feminized, so this is why a lot of them are turning into each other, or they're turning into just these narcissistic princesses. Go ahead.
It's you're right. That's exactly what's happening. And I've noticed that what I noticed with my daughter and her generation, and they're lost. They don't have. I mean, you think about it. They're all confused. They don't know. What they want. But they're bombarded with all this crap. They do realize that something's not right with our world. They really do. Some kids are more awake than adults. They're willing. They can tell you right off. This is crazy. They're trying to brainwash us and stuff. But they turn to these drugs, and the drugs they have today that they're abusing is this fake synthetic marijuana. They abuse cold medicines. Because it's at first I thought, oh, and there's the cutting, which is this cutting thing.
That's huge. Well, that's usually associated with some eating disorders, and then that's all like histrionic stuff, right? Histrionic disorder, bipolar, not bipolar. Go ahead.
Well, to me there was this. I mean, when I found out some of these things were happening, we were like, oh, you blame yourself, and you blame your ex, and you blame everybody, and you blame in the world. But the point is, when I started getting involved with some other parents and their kids, and realizing this was a theme, cutting and all these little things that they were doing, and they're all for a loss of what to do, and it's sad. It really is, and a lot of these kids, like I said, the boys are definitely being feminized. They wear little. I mean, I can't tell you the last time I think I've seen well, there are a few, but boys that look like boys and act like boys.
Yeah, no, I know.
I mean, and I'm not saying that. And then but we can be angry at the system for creating this, but I don't think we can be angry with the people, because kids coming up and whatever their sexuality is, whether it's, what, I don't care if whatever they believe it is. I can't say for someone or not, but I do believe it's in the food, it's in the water, it's in the environment, and it's changing people.
Yeah.
It's humanism, all that, we're all becoming this drone type of robot. Thank you.
And I see, thank you. And I'm done.
I've seen told my husband, thank you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding. Hey, but I see what you mean though. I mean, yeah, no, I completely see where you're going with that. And it's, I've done a few videos on this as well. There's one I did a while back, and I put a news story in there where they said that boys, and this is all over America, what's happening is a phenomenon, but their language is changing, or at least their affectation when they speak, and it's turning into that Valley Girlish type, Paris Hilton type, like, we went to the movies and we saw a cool movie. They do stuff like that. I will never do that again. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? You've heard that, and I hear it. I've got nephews and nieces. I don't have kids, but I have nephews and nieces, and I hear their friends and and I see some of this. I really do. It's like unbelievable.
Well, there is, I think, a lot of people are waking up. I really do believe that. I didn't think that until I noticed a lot of people, because I do believe there's a connection among us all spiritually. We're more connected, and they've tried to, with all the food and all this fluoride and all this stuff, to keep us from our connection to God, through nature, through the natural way. And, it goes back to the, I believe, because Satan is the god of this world. So, how all that came about, I'm still looking at all that sometimes, and because we're looking for the truth in a world full of lies. So it is it's just it can be kind of maddening. And as far as, like I said, to get back to the raising the family thing, we just I don't think there's any formula other than just we pray, ask for wisdom, and we put them in God's hands. And I try to teach my children to face themselves and, deal with their problem, and, understand it, they've got to take responsibility for their own actions, because this world tells you that you should blame everybody and pass the buck. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to do, is just get them to go within themselves and understand who they are, that they are that there is God, He's the Spirit in them. And then that, this world is, to be responsible. So we just try to do everything opposite of what is being taught, what we were brainwashed to believe. We just do the opposite of it, and try just to kind of keep it simple, as simple as that sounds. That's pretty much what and how I think to raise a family now. There's no, like I said, I'm a flawed parent as anybody else is, but, we love our kids, and to me, sometimes I wonder why we've why we see these things. I think it's to prepare our, the young ones to be ready.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's going to be a whole different landscape. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it will be. And I do think that, I don't know how this is going to end up. I mean, we just know that there are some days I feel like I am walking around in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, no, totally. Did you ever see Terminator 2?
Terminator 2. Yeah, I probably have. I can't remember it, but yeah.
So I relate to that character, Linda Hamilton's character in that movie, but I'm sure you would too. But, she's the one who had seen the future, knew nuclear attacks were coming, and she's the only person in the world that knew. You know what I mean? So we can all kind of relate to that feeling sometimes, of like, how seriously do I want to take this world when I kind of know what's coming, So,
it's kind of it's not easy, man. And I know a lot of people are turning, like they turn on each other. There's a lot of fighting. I mean, I really wish there could be a little bit more unity and love. And I'm not talking about, let's all, the hippie stuff. People get, you want to be hippie love. No, that's not what I'm talking about. True understanding.
Yeah, that'll be the New World Order religion. That's going to be it. That's what we're going to be up against. And it's probably, going to have a Jesus-type figure, most likely. So
I think there's this, there's definitely an agenda. And to unplug, not watch so much TV, man, like you, I stay away from the TV unless we're watching a movie together. And just literally, to me is kind of going back to my roots, my native roots, and being, and to me that's, that's what, how can I put it? I'm kind of a loss of words, but that is just exactly where it's at for me.
Well, that's good. Yeah, see, that's your path. I can hear the peace in your voice, and that's good. Now, of course, you're going to have, and this is where we both have issues, but people getting on you, it's like, I don't agree with you. Sound like a New Ager, Jerrae. You sound like a hippie. I get that stuff too, so.
Just fine. And I that bothered me. And, but see, I understand. I used to do that too. I was very, very judgmental, thought that and look, I can't tell anybody how to live. We can all, I've just made so many mistakes in my life, and I've done everything the wrong way. And I have been the most, imperfect person, as we all are. And so what gives me the right, everybody is on their own path and journey, and we really are. And we all have our own personal, unique relationship with the Father, period. And nobody can tell us or tell you, I can't tell you, whether they want to call it New Age, or because I'm going back to my Native American, the roots of what, in my father's family, whether it be powwows or, respecting the earth and all that. To me, that is just, grounding myself, gardening, all that stuff, is, it's important. It literally is a peace of mind. And I do feel closer to God, the Father, when I'm there. I don't worship the things of this earth. I don't worship a plant. I respect it. So it's not like, but yeah, you're going to get the trouble and with it, and people are going to judge you, but it just don't bother me though, because I know, you just either know where you're at or you don't. And people are always going to hate on you no matter what you do. So I just really don't care what people think, if that makes sense. Not that I don't mean that in a crappy way. I just, you know what I mean? I do. You know what I mean? I'm just like, whatever, man, you're going to think what you want. And it doesn't make a difference to me. I've got my own life and my own family. I know where I'm at, where I stand with my Creator. And, that's the best I can do. And I'm just like everybody else. And we're all, in this together. And I think the more compassion we can have for those who are trying to seek the truth, or those who are sincere and honest, not this fake crap, which is that hippie crap. But
Joel Osteen and some of this, that
little fake kind of, people know when people are genuine, a sense of what, when and I just think having a little more compassion, understanding, and but that lacks in this world. But then you're the opposite of that, is you got the communistic kind of love kind of thing going on. And that's, but I think people are not, I shouldn't, well, some people would disagree, but I don't think people are that stupid. I think people will follow their the intuition, their heart, the Holy Spirit, if you will. It's never led me wrong. I have always been, if I will listen, it's always been just the way it's supposed to be and perfect. It's when I start, listening to all these outside voices, or something else, is when I fall into my own little holes and traps, which I still do.
No, so I agree. It's it's great. I love the way you're putting it together. Because I don't even know if I can put the way my connection with all this stuff into words either. But it's just weird. Our relationship with God and with the Creator. It's just it's individual. It's interesting, and people should just leave us alone. At least we're doing it right.
Well, yeah. I mean, they can't. I mean, I'm just telling you. I think the religion part of it. We've all been sold a bunch of crap with that, and I understand. Yeah. I've been there, I've done that, and I thought I had to do this, and if I didn't, I was going to burn in hell. And if I didn't go to church, why didn't I like church? Every time I tried to go to church, I hated it, and I was like, oh, I'm a bad person, and I'm not good enough, and I'm never going to be able to be good enough. I mean, I had all that in my head until God is just love to me, the truth, and it's not as hard as we make it to be. I really think the world and man complicates it. Humans, we can complicate it. And it's not that, doesn't have to be that way. And people need to mind their own business when it comes to, I don't have a right to judge anybody. I don't know. I can't look into their heart. I mean, can we judge a situation or people and say, okay, that person's lost. They're lost in they're lost in another world. We can see that. It's sad, what do you do? I mean, I can't, save anybody. I can.
Oh, you let them know. Let them know the truth. That's it.
Yeah, we can be honest with them, and we can show some genuine love, which comes from, God. To me, it doesn't come from the flesh, part of our, material part, and it comes from within, and show that, and people have to find their way, and to be an example. I never learned anything by someone pointing their finger at me. I learned by someone, lovingly, listening, lovingly, being an example, and loving me when I was not lovable. And that was how I learned, and I learned that from a lot of people. There was a lot of great people that came into my life that showed me what love was. And that way, they loved me when I was not lovable. They actually, accepted me where I was at, which wasn't a good place. So,
Yeah. Well, Jerrae, I hate to stop you there, but I have to. We're actually almost out of time. I seriously can't believe an hour just went by. Did it go by fast? It went by fast for me.
Fast. I'm glad it did. I didn't know what it would be like, but yeah.
No, it was smooth. I think it was great. Great talking to you, and I really, I'm glad you're able to come on. You're a unique voice I wanted to have on here, and that's the kind of thing I like to do is show all the different angles of those of us who are awake and all the different levels, and that, we need, quote, regular people on here, who are going through this. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have something to add and share, and, you can't just shut someone. I mean, I watch a lot of different videos where I look into a lot of people and they think, I don't agree with everything I read or see, but I think could be one sentence that I'm like, yeah, hey, that's important.
And that's a smart way to do it. Even with my videos, I mean, it would scare me if anybody was on me 100% with everything that I felt and thought and did. You know what I mean?
You and not your message, and I think that's important, is to listen to the message and listen with your heart, and don't get lost in following human beings and making them your God, because that just won't work.
well, for sure. And on that note, we got about a minute. Is there anything you wanted to leave the audience with? Any last words?
Wow.
You're like, haven't I given you enough words?
Well, I just think you just gotta, to me, seriously, with all this going on, this twilight zone, the lie and all the darkness that we live under and with, but there is still joy to be had. To me, it's truly continuing to, seek truth and understanding and pray and spend time with God. However you do that, like me, like I said, it's being outdoors, being in nature. To me is, I can only speak for myself. I can't tell anybody else, but literally push yourself, go outside, do something different, and do something that the world is doing, the opposite. And I think that's one way to cope with everything that's going on. And God will He gives me peace. I have moments where I flip out, man. Well, I get that peace back. So yeah.
Well, if somebody wanted to reach you, then they can go to your YouTube channel, and that is just your name, is that right?
Yeah, Jerrae Lynn. It's my middle name. I use Jerrae Lynn, JerraeLyn. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerrae. Hey, wow, awesome talk. I'll definitely be talking to you on YouTube sometime. We'll have to do this again. I'll bring you in for like a multiple sit-down discussion with some other people sometimes. That sound good?
Sounds great. All right.
Cool. Right. Well, I'll stay in touch. Take care out there.
Okay, you too.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, guys. Wow, time went super, super duper fast. So once again, you guys, this is KJ Ozborne with Rigged Reality Radio. Just want to thank you all for joining in once again. Next week, I got a great show lined up. It'll be author Lynn Leoz. Also going to have Saturn Round Eye Saturn. Sorry, I'm getting it mixed up. It's been 2 hours, guys. Give me a break. Either way, tune in next week. Got a good show coming. You guys take care out there, and we'll talk to you soon.